Namaskara. Welcome to another episode of Times and Tides. Madam, coming to again this, adaptation of Indian culture by the people who came from outside. You seem to have a lot of respect for Jagat Guru Adil Shahi. You call him Jagat Guru. Of course, he was also called. And I, for me, it was a shock that, you call a king who is from Bijapur dynasty a Jagat Guru. I love to hear from you as to what is your, I know he is also called Kanpur Wala by his lovely wife, but...
there is an emotional point for that.
Achha.
I belong to Bijapur.
Oh,
My father's
I know.
side.
I should have thought of it.
Okay, so from my childhood, I always roamed around the gumbas, the masjidis, or the area where people rule. This is the Torvi area where he built Sangeet Mahal, etc.
Okay.
Then, fortunately, I received these 12 books from the Krishna Kalwar Kulkarni.
Okay.
They have Adil Shahis, all books they have brought. 12 books, including Kitab-e-Nawras. And I have read all 12. Okay, this is the literature during Adil Shahis. Okay. And because I was born and brought up in that area, so I know their whole history by heart. They always had one son, not many sons. There's no, unlike Mughals, they did not have that. And Bijapur was called as second Delhi in those days.
In fact, you're right about it.
Second Delhi. Yeah. And the unusual thing about this...
Hope that is not influenced by your love to Bijapur.
No, it is historically. And my constituency, I have chosen Bijapur.
Okay.
So that makes me to go many times in a year.
Yeah.
And when I read, and I have Kitab-e-Nawras in Kannada, from Persian, they were not Sunnis, they were Shias from Persia. So Uttar Karnataka is heavily influenced by the Shias, at least in that period. Okay. And we people know a lot more about Shia and Sunni than many people. He was Shia, which are people who are fond of more Sufism. And most of the Sufis are from Shia sect. He himself he writes Mata Saraswati, the first Gana is on, or the song is on Mata Saraswati. I am your child, please bless me. Okay. He says, you should come in my mind and make me to write. Second one is on Ganpati he writes. And he was extremely tolerant king of Bijapur.
To me, that was an eye-opener, frankly.
Because they are not as famous as other Mughals or Mughal history. Yeah. Adil Shahi history is not that well known, but they were great kings. They were great kings. They were great art lovers. Where the Dakhani Muddu started at that time. There was a Dakhani painting was there. You go to Bijapur and see, but in front of there is a museum. In that you have Dakhani painting. And he was very fond of Indian music, particularly music. And that's then his wife, who was the princess of Ahmednagar, used to call him Kanpur Wala. And if you go to see his resting place, Ibrahim Roza, it is one of the finest art poetry in the stone kind. Beautifully done, with the jala, etc. So, I consider him as is one of the finest kings of Adil Shahi dynasty. And it was his title as Jagat Guru Adil Shahi II.
And his wife also seems to be a great lady, a great warrior who fought against Mughals.
No, that was Chand Bibi, who was his regent.
Okay.
His wife also came, Chand Bibi also came from the same house of Ahmednagar, Nagar today they call. She was a great warrior. She could speak 10 to 12 languages, Persian, Kannada, Marathi, because the court had Marathi in those days, and Arabic, then of course Turkey and many more languages. Okay. She was the finest.
So Chand Bibi is different from the period of Adil Shahi II?
No, Adil Shahi II was, his father died his uncle died when he was young. Okay. He was the successor to his uncle. Achha. And he was very young. So Chand Bibi was the wife of his uncle, was the queen actually. Yeah. She became like a Rajamata and looked after him. And then later she went back to her mother.
So then the wife who called him Kanpur Wala was actually from Konkan perhaps?
No, the Konkan lady was the founder's wife. that Yusuf Adil Shahi,
I see.
his wife came from Konkan
Okay.
and from a Brahmin family.
Ah.
And when Yusuf Adil Shahi came from Persia, worked for Bahmani kingdom.
Okay.
Then in the conquest, he went to Konkan.
Hmm.
There he met this beautiful lady
Hmm.
and brought her.
Okay.
Nobody knows about her name,
Ah.
but her brother's name everyone knows.
I see.
Then she said, along with me, I will bring my people.
Ah.
So she brought her brother to the court. So Marathi became one of the languages in the court.
Okay.
She was Mukundrao's sister. Mukundrao was his name.
Acha, acha.
And she was the wife of Yusuf Adil Shahi.
Ah.
Then during the next 3-4 generation, the wife of mother of the queen's name was Chand Bibi. She
Okay.
came from Ahmadnagar dynasty.
Yeah.
And so is Adil Shahi, the second wife, also came from Ahmadnagar, same Shahi dynasty.
Yeah.
Okay. That way, there was always a
And
marriage.
so she is from that fort in Ahmadnagar, which
Yes.
has, yeah.
where she was killed or died, they say in a war.
Okay.
You have Chand Bibi memorial there.
Okay.
And Ahmadnagar, there are five dynasties they used to marry. One is Qutub Shahi, other one is the Barid Shahi, and one is Ahmad Shahi, one is this is Adil Shahi,
I wonder about your
No.
memory.
and one is Nizam Shahi.
Okay.
Okay, they were all Shahis. They were the conquerors in the south, unlike Mughals. These were the different people. Okay, and only one girl in the last one, that is Sikandar Adil Shahi's dynasty. His sister, much against her wish, she was married into Mughal dynasty, and she said, "No, I don't want to marry in the north to the Mughal dynasty." But she was made for the sake of the kingdom. But we never heard about her. Sultana Begum, I think her name, about her. And the last one was in the Sikandar, and he was chained in gold, and he was poisoned by the Aurangzeb, and he died.
The reason why I told it was an eye opener to me is the following. I am a bit biased. I dug the history of Vijayanagara to write my novel. At that time, Adil Shahis were the enemies for them. So, enemies of what I love Vijayanagara, I thought are always very bad people. But when I read this Jagat Guru, I actually reread and reread. Maybe that's the reason why I got confused whose wife is who and all that. I only was focusing on his music expertise, his writing expertise, the navaras and all that he had done. I was very impressed.
By and large, they used to fight for the Raichur. But the major blow came when all five of them united. That is one of the reasons of the fall of the Vijayanagara. So, whenever an empire falls, there are many reasons. One is the later kings become so careless,
complacent.
And second thing is the person who was ruling Vijayanagar was not
real king.
He was not a Krishnadeva Rai's son.
Yeah.
He was the son-in-law. So there is a saying in Kannada that never give your kingdom to a son-in-law. Because of that. That's the way you say.
Yeah.
The Ramaraya Aliya. So I will tell you a funny thing about this. I went to see when I was 8 years old. I once 30 or 40 times to Hampi.
Okay.
So one of these, when I was maybe teenager, I don't know, 10 years old, I went to Hampi to see Mahanavami Dibba, where the Vijayanagar is to, enjoy the
origin of the Sera.
And then they said, my grandfather was a history teacher. This is one of the reasons at the end I will talk. Why history made me to I love history.
I will come to that.
Yeah. My grandfather was a history teacher, and he told how Vijayanagara Empire is prosperous and how Mahanavami was conducted. Many years, I never used to call Dasra, I used to call Mahanavami Abba. Later, off late, when I came to Mysore, married a Mysore man, I started calling it Dasra. Otherwise, it was always, for us, it was North Karnataka, Mahanavami Habba.
Okay.
We coined it from Vijayanagara Empire. Okay. And told me Mahanavami Dibba and how it was destroyed, he described. Then I took a vow on that day. I told him, I will never marry a man whose name is Ram. Because Ram Raya was responsible for the downfall of Vijayanagar. It was such a foolish thing. My grandfather said,
I see.
It is not the name which brings the kingdom down. There are many factors. And one of the major factors was all five of them got joined together, and they had better equipment. From Turkestan used to come to Goa. And for many years, the port of Goa was in the hands of Adil Shahi. That is important.
I have a different argument also on how why Vijayanagara fell down.
Okay, many are there, one of them.
No, true. But what you told is correct. That is, it is just not the king who is responsible for the demise of a kingdom. It is also the way they use the resources, the local resources. We had sandalwood, redwood.
I read that book of yours.
Yes.
Rakta Chandana.
No, it's Karisiriana. In Karisiriana,
Karisiriana, I have read.
how Rakta Chandana was
Yeah.
taken over by someone. I mean, anyway. But your statement is correct that when an empire is lost, it is not just because of the king, but because of several things.
And the cumulative effect of that.
That is
Okay,
true.
you can see Mughal Empire, you can see Gupta Empire, you can see Chandragupta Maurya Empire, how it falls, how Pushyamitra Shringari, how his empire falls and gets into anarchy.
Yeah.
So every empire and it falls, there's always an anarchy, and there are many reasons.
The other third element I thought I will perhaps put across to the viewers that one can pull out from this whole book, madam, is the fact that you bring out the details of some kings who are otherwise not known in the history at all. For example, Kharavela.
Kharavela of the Odisha.
Yeah.
Hathi Gumfa, Rani Gumfa.
Hardly people have heard. But those caves are well known. But that they were all built by Kharavela. And that in the Hathi Gupta, there is this inscription, which is the famous inscription. And that those caves have so much of details of Jainism and all that is hardly, those details are known, but the king is hardly known. So I was very happy about it. Maybe you would like to expand on Kharavela's.
See what happens, even many temples I have seen. Temples are so beautiful, but who built, we don't know. Rarely will have a description. Because the Hindu mind or the Indian mind was trained in such a way that Naham karta harik karta. Whenever you do anything, you should not talk about yourself, irrespective of the faith. Whether it's a Muslim, Christian or Jain in India. In India I'm talking.
I know. Yeah.
I've seen many Persian inscriptions in mosque. It talks about the mosque greatness, the Allah, God's greatness. But why I built, when I built, how much I spent, hardly you see.
Yes.
Same is Kharavela. Kharavela was a king actually. He was a very well-known king in olden days who controlled entire Orissa. And he was a Jain. Okay. And many people ask how Jains can become a king, because Jains are very Ahimsa, Paramo Dharma.
Yeah.
But when you become a king, you have your personal religion separate, your Kshatriya Dharma separate. Okay. Like a Veera Bankeya, the Bankapura, today what you call is an unknown village, was named after Bankeya, who was the commander-in-chief of the Hoysalas of the Dora Samudra, of the today's Beluru and Halebedu.
Yeah.
So
who are Jain kings.
They are Jain kings,
Yeah.
but they expanded their kingdom, and their Dandanayaka or their army-in-chief was Jain, and he was so important. They set up a city on his name, was Bankapura, with many Jain temples. Today it is in, nobody knows about that, unless people like you can go and see so many Jain. There are not much Jain left.
Okay.
Anyway, so
this
Kharavela was a king who did many expeditions, who became a bigger king, but he was a Jain. He was not a small area king. He was a big king.
Yeah, that's what. In fact, you also write that he prevented the invasion of these Greek kings also.
Because Greek kings used to come from Afghanistan, Pakistan, that border, come to Mathura. Mathura was again on a trade route and an important city. Okay. Now religiously we talk, but in those days it was a very important city like Varanasi and Mathura. If you conquer Mathura, you have conquered a lot. You conquer Pataliputra or Patna, you conquered a lot. You conquer Varanasi, that means these are the three important places. Like you say Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore today. Okay. So these three, if you conquer, you have conquered India, more or less, right? Similarly, the Greeks used to come to Mathura, and Mathura was always resisted by eastern side, depending on their strength. Okay. Or Patna used to resist sometimes, or his people used to resist. So he resisted the Greek invasion, became a big king, but he was Jain at heart. And ultimately, later part of his life probably, or even in that part of his life, he said, my religion teaches me many things and people should know. He used to call all Jain monks to the Orissa. And these Jain people used to stay 4 months, they cannot walk in rain. because they may kill any small insect due to their, because they don't wear chappals.
Right.
So the Jains were very particular, Jain Munis, they should not walk in rainy season. So they used to stay 4 months in rainy season in one place. And in Kannada, we call them as Vasati, that means a place to stay. And over a period of time, we started to call them as Basadi. Even in northern Karnataka today, Jain temples are called as Basati, even today. And he made the Vasati or Basadi for them. So he has to require a big place. Then they will hold a conversation with them. What is life after death, this, that, Tripitika, all those things, conversation. But he also, in Guha, he has showed his expedition with the elephants, etc. If you are Hathi Gumfa, they call it. That is his conquest, how he did, etc. In Rani Gumfa, which was built by his wife, and it is a 2-storied building. So this is where he has not talked about much about himself, except a few lines. When I was writing that, I felt, what can I write Kharavela? Nowhere you have information, except a few books. I referred many books and I got this much information. I could not write much.
As I told you, I mean, hardly known. Kharavela
Hardly.
hardly known. And so I was happy.
2 lines. Kharavela built Rani Gumfa and Hathi Gumfa. And that's it. And maybe
And
he was
the
a Jain.
description, which is some 17 lines or so, and
Yeah.
some broken.
Yeah,
Nothing
yeah,
about
nothing.
Kharavela.
Trudita Shasana, they write in Sanskrit.
Yeah.
Then I went to Orissa, talked to the Oriya scholar, what information I got it. Then
Great efforts. Madam, on these caves, I have just 2 points to add again to the viewers. I had a podcast done on elephants with Dr. Sukumar from ISC. He told me, in fact, he has a photo also of that in his book. He told me that in one among those caves, there is a depiction of the conflict between animals here, elephant and humans, as we see today. A lady is, it seems, is now depicted there, number 1. Number 2, I have been to those caves, and when you go to the top of these caves, there is a kind of a, this yagna-like ceremonial hall. The tourist guide, we can't believe them always. He told me that once in 5 years or so, a huge seminar used to be held there, and the person who now is selected as the best knowledgeable person in that seminar would be now taken there and will be now, whatever his laurel is given or is created. So these details perhaps we don't know how true are there, but when I standing on the top of the height, I myself wished how I was there and got selected in the seminar as the most intelligent person. I mean, these things came to my mind when I was actually reading this book. And it also teaches to people when they go to this that it's just not the caves, but the person who built the cave. And he's a Jain king. He resisted the invasion into this part of the world. To me, that was exciting to read. And then you come down to south and write about Vikramaditya. The Vikramaadityas, we now say this is the golden age and Nava Ratnas were there, Kalidasa, Amarsimhan. When I was reading that, again, it reminded me to connect again through your books. So many places you write about all these scientists. The Aryabhata, Varahamihira, Shishrutas, all this. Perhaps even the students of science of present day, if they read this book, I got a feeling that they should feel proud about how the science in the past. This Aryabhata, for example, you write, he discovered pi. And he also discovered the placement mechanism along with zero. Of course, zero was discovered by someone, but the placement mechanism. And he also calculated the circumference of the earth and the number of days of the year almost perfectly during that time. How proud we all should feel about. What is your opinion about the science in ancient India? I know it's a big question. It's an ambiguous question. But as a historian whom I know feels very proud about our own history, what is that went through your mind when you were writing about those scientists?
The science requires research. Research requires money and a bright mind also. In olden days, kings used to, also allow intelligent people to do research, and they had a Rajashaya, most of them, and also poets also. For example, Ujjaini was the place of science in olden days. Very famous place was Ujjain and Patna. Both the Pataliputra and Ujjain were very famous. Initially Pataliputra, later Ujjain. Historically, I will talk you. In 12th century, a man from Bijapur It's a fact that there is a person from Bijapur who went to Jain
Hmm.
and researched there. He was a Bhaskaracharya.
Okay.
He's from Karnataka. There is an award every year from that village. People
Okay.
give that.
I see.
His name is Bhaskaracharya.
Hmm.
There are two Bhaskaracharyas. Oh, number one, number two.
Hmm.
This 12th century Bhaskaracharya is from a village. I'm not getting the name, exact name.
So,
From there,
Yeah.
he went to Ujjain and never
Ujjain.
came back.
okay.
So Leelavati Bhaskaracharya, what we talk,
Yeah.
that is this Bhaskaracharya.
Okay.
So there were always bright people.
Hmm.
Ujjain was the place, and it was always Rajashraya.
Hmm.
Okay, and there were also independent people were also there. For example, Madhava School of Mathematics
Hmm.
was in Kerala.
Hmm.
Kerala was very famous for mathematics
Hmm.
up to 14th, 15th century.
Hmm.
Later, the later invasion, then the Rajashraya was not there. The students could not come there, so it lost. Otherwise, Kerala School of Mathematics, Madhava was, even today, if you go to a mathematics area, even today that area was famous. Same way, Varahamira, all these people were great scientists.
Aryabhatta.
Aryabhatta.
Mihira.
So when I was talking to my brother, who is an astrophysicist, he said traditionally our country, India, was very good in astrophysics.
Hmm.
Okay, we mistake astrophysics to astrology. Both are different.
Unfortunately.
Astrology is that by this you say rituals, this, that, and prediction. But pure prediction of the planet was done in India much before many people. Before Galileo and Copernicus, we knew that.
Can I interject here, madam? When you were talking about, astrology and astronomy and all this, there was one uniqueness in our knowledge system. There was no separation between arts and science. Creation was one common base. Whether you create a shloka or where you discover the planet and put the details of the planet also in the shloka form, which actually also is a creative. So in that sense, every scientist was a creative artist, and every artist also could have been a creative scientist. In that sense, there was a merger. This element clearly emerges when we now start reading about these people, number one. Number two, the second question that came to me, and reason why I raised about scientists and asked you about this is the following. We know Galileo, how much he was now affected, or he was kind of punished by the faith system. We don't have such. Aryabhatta told the earth is a planet, it is circular, but we simply accepted it. We didn't punish him. We didn't say that no, we are going against our belief that earth is our God and all that. I mean, there seem to be a different kind of acceptance of the new knowledge system by the kings and the faith system that we had in India compared to the West. Do you agree with that?
Because in Hindu way of living, there is no one guru who will control, and what he says is finally not there. So, it was a free thinking which always helped. You can go to a temple, you need not go to a temple. Okay, you can believe Rama or Krishna or Hanuman, or you don't have to believe. Still, Hindu way is way of living, and that concept only has come out in every part of Indian culture.
Yeah.
For example, Galileo was under a king. A king was under a church. Okay, and they had in olden days. They had many restrictions. Today the things are so different.
Course, yeah.
So if the king was not under anybody, not in one god. There is not one person who will control the king. King was supreme. Okay,
Yes.
so king will not listen to somebody says, oh, you should not do. He says no. So the freedom of speech, thinking, creativity was there with the king and others when it comes to any creativity. It is not like a person, a king may be a Kshatriya, but his Dandanayaka may be Jain. He may be Kshatriya. His people who will advise him could be a Brahmin.
Right.
We had a porous system. Porous, I consider personally, it is one kind of very good civilization or highest civilization where you are free thinkers. Where there is nobody who will control saying that what I think is you should think. It was never there in India.
Yes.
What I think, you think that way.
Yes.
I think this way. For you, this is a God. For me, this is God. A free thing. This is a land of free thinkers.
And there was also harmony among these different sections of the Brahmin, Kshatriya.
Yeah. It was a porous system.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
It was a porous
Mobility
system.
was there.
Yeah.
Tolerance was there.
Yeah.
And perhaps we still have tolerance, but for some injected intolerance by some people who think that we are intolerant. Otherwise, I think we are.
By and large, ourselves, by our nature wise, we are free thinkers, and we argue. We are argumentative Indians.
Argumentative Indians. I
Argumentative
remember
Indians.
Gargi
And we talk a lot, we communicate better.
yes.
Better or not, I don't know, we talk a lot.
Yes.
This is part of our DNA.
Well, talking and communication is a gift given to us by evolution, madam. We should perhaps now use it for conveying our things.
Yeah.
And otherwise, Gargi's discussion with Yajnavalkya as Aneka wouldn't have been here today.
But
But
there's
for
a very nice story. I don't know whether I've written there or not. Neti story.
Oh yeah, you're done.
I've written there.
You've written
Neti story.
Yeah, you can perhaps tell to the viewers about it. Yeah.
Yajnavalkya had 2 wives, and in olden days, Rishi or Muni will have no cash, currency, land, nothing was there.
Yeah.
Only cow was their asset.
Yeah.
Okay. So Godhana they used to call.
Okay.
Rishi has a certain cows, because the cow was, they used to feed the cow, get the milk, and they will have a Gurukula. Very simple system. And he decided to go to the forest to learn more. So he said, before I go, I will discharge all my duties. He calls Katyayani is one wife, other one is Gargi, I think. Maitri, Gargi.
No, Maitri. Gargi is a Balika.
Balika.
Yeah.
Maitri and Katyayani.
Okay.
He calls and he says, look, I have some X number of cows, I will divide into 2 parts. You take half, other will take half. And the Katyayani said, okay. Maitri asked, where are you going? By giving me all these cows, where are you going? I'm going to forest. Why are you going to forest? He said, I want to learn more on philosophy and concentrate, do tapas.
Yeah.
And maybe I want to claim something better than normal life.
Yeah.
He said, I don't want these cows.
Neti.
Neti. I don't want. I want to accompany you. What you want to learn, what you want to achieve in life, in philosophy, even I want to achieve that.
Okay.
So, the whole concept of life is to make an inward journey, to live in peace, accept without one person telling this is final. We never had one final word at all.
I'm sure the philosophy of Neti is perhaps very much close to your heart.
Of course.
By knowing very well how you live and what you
I
live.
always believe, this is my personal belief, that the day you stop learning, that day you become old. So
no, the other way also is there. The day you start, loving the material and not the knowledge. Yeah.
Maybe my training that way.
Yes.
I always feel the joy of life is joy of learning.
Okay. Very great, madam. And you also know, to continue about the less known kings
like Kharavela.
Brought about. Of course, Pulakeshin II is known to us very much.
Very
but
dear
for
to
the
my heart.
North Indians, maybe it's
Pulakeshin II is very dear to my heart. My father was a doctor in Badami. Okay. So I grew up in the caves in a way. I will touch everybody. And that is the time, I used to tell, I wish I would have been there. And
you have told this several times.
Always. Yeah. And Parameshwar Pulakeshin is sitting in the cave number 2, like how Vishnu is sitting.
Yes.
And E Kalmanege, there the Shasana. By the Mangalesha, he says, Nandi Kesara Kalmane, there the Shasana.
Okay.
And many times I have touched it. That he says, for this cave, how much oil is required, how much flour is required. For that, there is a Grama, Nandi Grama, somewhere, some village is there.
Okay.
That I have given this land's revenue is meant for the flowers. That is Mangalesha Shasana.
Okay.
And first time he says Kalmane. That is very enchanting word for me. Cave is English word.
Kalmane.
In Kannada,
stone
it
house.
is Kalmane.
Okay.
That was the first enchanting word I learned in Shasana, is the Kalmane.
Achha.
Okay. So Pulakeshin II, again, when I was a young girl, there is a Shasana if you go to Badami, when Narasimhavarman of the Pallava dynasty comes in and burns Badami and takes Ganapati of Badami.
Paranjyoti was the...
He takes Ganapati with him. Vatape Ganapati Bhaje.
Yes. I have written a story on that, madam. I have brought the book, I'll give you at the end.
Okay. He writes, that goes away.
Yeah.
And he burns Badami.
Yeah.
And how much I was again a young girl, I cried, I said, how can they build Badami? How can they burn Badami?
Yes.
It's such a beautiful place. And that time my grandfather told me one word. History happens. History tells you a lesson, how you should be. In victory, how you should be. And in defeat, how you should be. History tells you what mistakes our ancestors made, we should not make.
And we should not.
History gives you a life lesson if you have open mind. And he told, the rivers of Vatapi Konda. He got the title Vatapi Konda.
Yeah. Okay.
There is a Rajasimha temple in Kanchi,
Mhm.
and where Vikramaditya, the grandson of the Parmeshwar Pulakeshin II, goes there and conquers that Pallava.
Yes.
And he does not burn. He says, whatever temple has assets, let it go to the temple, I will not take. On the contrary, I will add some more assets to this temple, and that's in Kannada. And I went to Rajasimha temple and read that and came back.
Okay.
For me, Parmeshwar Pulakeshin, I called him the Emperor of India. When I was a young, I used to call. Today I said one of the great kings of India. Because that is my equation. On the river Narmada, he fights with Harshavardhana of the Kanauj. And he defeats him.
He defeats him. Yeah.
And that Shasana you can see in the Vikirti Prashasti. And there is on the, if you go to Badami, there is a double-storied the temple is there. And it is similar to Hathi Gumfa of the Kharavela.
Achha.
And when you said the winner will be there, here it was either a Buddhist, if I'm not mistaken, it could be Buddhist. I don't know because nothing is inside.
Of course, you say that he was favoring Buddhism also.
So, because in many places we have Buddhist, places, even like, Hubli has a place known as what do you say, I'll tell you. Its original name is Buddhara Sangha. Today you call some other name. Okay. There we had a Buddhist caves. Okay.
I mean, Buddhism seems to be much more prevalent than what we thought.
Yeah, even in South India. Yeah. So, there the Vikirti Prashasti is in Sanskrit. He says, Harsha lost his Harsha. When Pulakeshin II won, he defeated him, the Harsha disappeared.
Achha.
Okay, that is the inscription which is written there. So I said, Harsha lost his kingdom. So North India was also under Parmeshwara Pulakeshin, and he became the Emperor of India when I was a young girl. But that is not true. It must have been a Sandhi or the, a place where
big kingdom
it was a big kingdom.
Where
they must have said now enough. But he did lose his battle to Pulakeshin.
Yeah.
Pulakeshin was known as the Parmeshwara Pulakeshin because he was known as the Parmeshwara Pulakeshin. Even today, that Parmeshwara Datti is there in all the temples. What is the meaning of Parmeshwara Datti? In Karnataka, at least, is there, or where he ruled. Suppose a temple is built, every king gives some villages for its expenditure or the maintenance. There are many ways, because I cannot go on talking about what are the ways they used to give. That itself is a big subject. One kolaga, two kolaga, three kolaga. Then Hiranya Garbha, there's a big subject only. What are the different ways of giving donations to a temple or to Vidyalaya or Nagavi Vidyalaya near Chitrapur in Gulbarga district? What they got? There is a Dambala Vidyalaya. So there is a different method of giving donations, and that itself is a huge subject. Okay. But Parmeshwara Datti is one of the famous, because he says whatever I give, that land produces grains. Ultimately, it was grain. Yeah. And he said, on that grain, my treasury should not get even a single grain from that. Okay. It is called Parmeshwara Datti. It is the highest. In other Dattis or in other donation, maybe 10% should come, 5% should come. Here he says, I don't want anything. Completely. What I have given, completely, that is really a nirlipta way. I gave away Krishnarpanamastu, never turned back. And that made me to think a large thing of Parmeshwara Pulakeshin. And I went to Karimnagar district where Krishna joins Tungabhadra. There you have Pulakeshin temples are there. I can't remember the name. I must have.
Your vision of Pulakeshin being an emperor, maybe you were love, but suddenly he was an emperor, because even Persian kings came.
They came to his court, and he brought. You can make out he brought the carpet. They brought the wine. Yes, you can see, and he also reflects in Ajanta caves many of his paintings. Yes, how is Parmeshwara?
You're right about that.
And how Pulakeshin died, I used to always think about it, where Pulakeshin died. They say Koshtaraya. If you go to Badami, there's a Koshtaraya temple. After the Pushkarni, you go to Koshtaraya. He died. I went, but it was
it's Koshtaraya or Kushtaraya?
So one of the king who got Kushtaroga became Koshtaraya and died. But no day Pulakeshin would have died like that. Achha. He would have died in a war.
In a war. But that brings me to this, controversy about Pulakeshin II. Some say he escaped from this Paranjyoti's invasion and started building his own army later. Some say he was dead. And that Tripadi inscription there,
I will tell you.
Kappe Arabata.
Kappe Arabata, he says, in that he says, Manabhangam dine dine, he says, what is life? You may lose, you may die in a war, but you had apmana once. That kills you every day. Apmana, Manabhangam dine dine. That is your mrityu. Mrityum kshanika matram. Mrityum kshanika matram sukham. Abhimanabhangam, Manabhangam dine dine. He says, that is Tripadi of the Kappe Arabata. 3 places it comes. Okay, 3 places it comes. That show the culture of the Chalukya dynasty. That he would not have showed his back end.
In fact,
this is my conclusion.
In fact, I have written in my story also. I mean, again with my own research and discussion with some people, that Kappe Arabata Shasana is actually on Pulakeshin II, because it speaks so much about what a king.
Manabhangam dine dine.
Okay.
So instead of dying every day, I rather die once.
Okay.
It's a very heart touching.
And of course, as we know, even Zhuangzheng also now visited him. So he must be a great king. Unfortunate that he is not known in the Indian
because
history.
we don't write history properly. We don't teach them properly. We never teach history properly. I am against the way they teach. You can make history a life lesson. You can tell history makes you proud, even though you lose a battle. Like Porus lost the battle, but he was proud. We have lost some battles, we have won some battles. No country has won all the battles.
Exactly.
Okay. Only
and no country has lost all the battles.
There are 3-4 emperors who won all the battles, all the wars, not battles, all the wars. We say that one to the Vikramaditya, we say that to Akbar, we say that to Krishnadevaraya, we say this to someone else also. 3-4.
Krishnadevaraya also has lost some, madam.
Small battles he must have done.
Yes. Yeah.
So what? I lost the battle, but I'll win the war.
Yeah.
Well, he must have lost the battle in the Raichur, the war, but he wins the war.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And madam, maybe we will move on from the India focus to a little away from India.
I want to tell one more thing for me.
Yeah.
Even today.
Yeah.
I'm now 76 years old.
Yeah.
Parmeshwar Pulakeshin is still alive in my mind because I have touched his. The Parmeshwar Pulakeshin sits in the Vadolaga in the cave number 2. Yeah. As a child, I have touched his feet, his hands, his kirita, his asana. For me, he's always alive in my mind.
That statue, I mean, that carving
alive in my mind.
Yeah, very nice also. It's very vibrant as a matter of fact.
For me, he's just not like any other emperor.
Yeah.
Like Harshavardhan is an emperor to me. Chandragupta Maurya is an emperor to me. Chandragupta Vikramaditya is an emperor to me. But Pulakeshin is not emperor, more than that.
Okay.
So is Vijayanagara Empire. Okay. It is more than that. These two are special places in my heart.
Okay. Yeah, maybe again, some of the chapters that you write in the book take us away from India also. I would like to come to that. There are at least 2 chapters. There are several others also. One, you talk about the map of the trades of India from Greek to the east. And then followed by that, you also say how our ships went from India to the east. Let us come to the first one, madam. I was very, excited to now read that map because just recently I read Dalrymple's Golden Road, where he says that much more than the Silk Route, we had the Golden Road linking India as the focal country to the east and to the west. So I was surprised to see that even before Dalrymple, our painters and our historians have recognized this. It is just that people like us, I mean, at least like me, had not realized the importance of these trade routes that connected India to the almost 2/3 of the world, of the whole thing. What is your take on the way India has gone?
Before we made Silk, we talked about Silk Route. Silk Route was there.
Yeah.
May not be in the same form. Okay, in Kanishka's time, he regularized it. Until that, there was half was there, one half was something was there, but there was always a simple, sleek road was there.
Okay.
Before Silk Road, even that concept of connecting 2 cities was a trade route.
Okay.
It is much ancient, always there. But how do you conceive it unless you talk about it? No, where do we mention in your school? Ganeshaiah, when you learned history, did any chapter talk about India's connection to East and West? Nobody. So when we don't introduce, once they introduce in school, and then if somebody like you and me are interested, then we will go and do little more research. When you don't introduce, you will not even come to know. You know?
Very, very true, madam. I feel very sad that our kids are taught about the European history,
Yeah.
where the entire Southeast Asia of Cambodia
Exactly.
and all that are so much linked to it culturally, faith-wise, blood-wise. We don't. There is no chapter at all on Southeast Asia and Indian historical relations,
So-
but we have chapters on European history.
And
To the
again,
text-
again, we read so much history about other people. For example, even Karnataka history, I will tell you. How many of us know Kalyana Chalukya? Nobody knows.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I always tell North Karnataka people,
Mm.
you should be very proud. I said, why? I said, look at the Karnataka history. The first emperor is Mayura Sharma from Kadamba dynasty, and that is our Banavasi. Second emperor is Chalukya, that is Badami. Third one is Rashtrakutas, they are from Aneka.
Correct.
Fourth one is Hoysala, that was from Dora Samudra, but their second capital was Bankapura. Okay. Next one comes Kalyani Chalukyas. Kalyana Chalukya, they were from Kalyana, whatever you call it, Gulbarga.
Yeah.
Then comes Vijayanagar Rayaru, Hampi.
Hampi.
Yes. Then comes Mysore Vaderu, that's in
Yes.
Mysore.
Yeah.
We, out of 8 empires,
Only in the
6 are in
north.
Karnataka, in northern Karnataka,
Yes.
and 2 are major one. 2 are in Mysore state, old Mysore, that is Dora Samudra and Mysore.
Right.
Okay, latest one is Mysore.
If only we go by our history, we have to shift our Bangalore capital to Sumer in Dharwad.
So, but the last one is the most popular, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But they were great kings as well. So I told the land which has produced these many emperors
Should be proud of.
has certain values.
True. They should be
And,
proud.
and what is, if you read at Kannada,
Mm.
what is Kannada? It's a language. Where it was generated, that our Pampa Kavi says,
Mm.
it is generated in if you take 4 sticks,
Mm.
Wakunda,
Ah.
Kisuvolalu, Kopana Nagara, Wakunda, and the fourth one is
You have spoken about it somewhere earlier also.
yeah,
Yes.
and Lakshmeshwara.
Yeah.
You Puligere.
Okay.
You put 4 sticks
Okay.
in between is Kannada.
My God. Okay.
Okay.
And
So I always see we should be very proud the language was born with us, and we should be grateful to the language where it connects to the world. We should be grateful to the history of Karnataka because we produce great emperors. We should be very proud of our country, which gave so much to the world global. So when you are not proud, you don't have confidence in you.
Very true, madam. I mean, the reason why I raised about this.
Sea root, it was always there. And recently they found out in Greek drama, there is a Kannada word.
Exactly. Yeah.
I've mentioned, I've
Yeah.
verified it and I've mentioned.
Yes.
And
I
you can
saw
see
that.
in Yashwantpura, we got some Roman coins. Yashwantpura
Well,
excavation.
Roman coins are in
Okay.
Chikmagalur.
So many
in
places.
So many places.
Okay.
That is not
Similarly,
separate.
Mohenjo-daro seals were available in Pompeii. They were available in the northern Italy. They were available in Greece. So, and plenty in the Arabian Peninsula.
Yeah.
Plenty.
Yes.
So we had always a trade route or sea route of the west up to Arabian Sea, and from there it was by land.
Yes.
And here it is an easier route.
No, even after Arabian Sea also, through
Yeah.
the present day.
Yeah, because
Gulf,
it will go to Mediterranean Sea and
Yes.
then it will go like
up
that.
to Black
Some
Sea.
land was there in between.
Yes.
But on the eastern side,
Yes.
there was no land. You can go anywhere up to Japan.
And these trade routes have not only connected the trade for the economic purpose, they have become the bridges of cultural spread of India. The geometry of India went there, algebra of India went there, numericals of India went there, without this zero and our decimal system, science wouldn't have developed
No,
so
I would not
fast.
have been in front of you because if there is no zero, there is no computer. There is no computer,
There is no
Infosys.
Infosys.
If there is no Infosys, I would not have been.
This knowledge flow from India, if it had not gone through these Arabs to the Europe, Science wouldn't have gone at all, as you rightly told. Computers wouldn't have come. I mean, Newton wouldn't have perhaps been able to calculate those calculus and all that. So the contribution of India to the science of the world today is so much because of these trade routes, and that is the reason why I was impressed by that map that we saw. And so also the way in which our culture spread to the whole of Southeast Asia. In some sense, at one time in our past, India, through this golden route, had connected almost 2/3 of the entire globe, and we really need to be very proud of it. Madam, I'll come to the last 2 or 3 things and then we'll close. Number 1, I'll go to the very first mural that you talk about, Harappa Mohenjo-daro. There is no need to talk about it. Harappa Mohenjo-daro is well known, but you make a statement, and that is the statement I want to now put you across and ask your response. You say that the construction of the city and the designing was, so good that it appears beyond the time that they were in. The reason why I'm stating this seems to be a common belief in us. Whenever we look at, let us say, Ajanta caves or Kailasa temple or the city of Harappa Mohenjo-daro, we always think that they could not have been so, wise at that time. I think this is affecting the construction of history itself very much. Do you agree with that? Our assumption that they were not as good as us.
No, I don't believe, I don't assume that way.
Achha.
They were good in many things. There are a lot of things I can talk about Mohenjo-daro Harappa.
Okay.
The city, see, we always, there is in 1921, Harappa was found. 1922, found means excavated. 22, Mohenjo-daro was excavated. So it's called Harappan culture.
Yes.
And before this Harappan culture, the pre-Harappan culture is still there. That is the Rakigadi.
Yeah.
And that area, pre-Harappan. Some of them are pre-Harappan. So, we always thought, I used to think, there are a number of people who were very less. And how they could have lived, this is my assumption, that when they lived, a group of people lived, they might not have thought about the necessity of second floor. Why do we be second floor? Because first one is not sufficient, so we'll be second. Or you are in a place from where you have to watch something, you do. So looking at the area where they lived, they did not have the probably invasion in that area. Because the invasion is to take place probably in those days by water. They used to come by water. This is my assumption. Okay. So I always assume Mohenjo-daro area will have a simple houses. They won't require 2-3 story buildings.
And they were circular houses.
And the second thing, they were so near to water, so they don't require swimming pool. They go to Sindhu river. Okay. But when I really went to Dholavira, I realized the geography of that area was so different than what I see today. Socially, what I thought was right, but geography I forgot. 5,000, 7,000 years back, Dholavira was in Dvipa, was island.
Yeah. With
And it was a protecting island for the Harappan sites.
Right.
So geographically, I could not imagine, 7,000 years back or 5,000 years back, how they would be. The river is there, but if the river is, where they were very near to the river, may not be.
But Dholavira says they were near the river because they channeled the water into those tanks.
No, it was an island.
True.
Island. But drinking water was later a problem. So they made the channels. You can see the channels today.
Oh, beautiful.
Beautiful. It is one of the finest, well-kept Harappan site.
And those channels you can actually walk through.
You can walk through that.
Yeah.
And so
and maybe you might have also seen the wells, madam. Different layers.
And
so that the dust settles in
the city, there's a well. You can go and take bath.
Yes.
And how you have to come out. The dirty water, how it goes. Inside the city is there.
Yes.
So this concept of how they were geographically, I was not able to, for that matter, very difficult for every historian to imagine how that place would have been geographically at that time. Visualizing is hard. Socially, we can visualize. Their dress, they were, because we do get objects out of that. What they wear, how they wear,
what they eat,
all those things. And the dead bodies we get by that, how old they were. and the gold what they get, lapis lazuli, whatever you get. But geographically, it is only a extrapolation. It is very difficult.
Yes.
That is the reason I said, in those days I could not think that.
Yeah, I mean,
It is my limitation.
I took that point because I think that might affect our reconstruction of history.
No,
also, but,
there's nothing to do with that.
fine.
Historically, I have no doubt about that, because geographically, I said they are on the river bank. Why they require second one?
Yes.
They don't require.
I would
But-
like to share. Sorry.
So though that is my limitation of understanding the geography 7,000 years back.
I would like to now share with you my own experience of visiting Dholavira, madam. After visiting Dholavira, myself, Veena, and my daughter, we went about 2 kilometers away just to see if the relics of Dholavira are still there. We had seen the circular house with an extension. We went 2 kilometers away. We saw a hut exactly the same, and a girl walked from inside with a baby. The baby's eyes were so beautiful. I felt, oh, I'm touching the Harappa Mohenjo-daros.
7,000 years back, 5,000 years.
Yeah, and also I touched that base of the circular house and the grinding stuff. Yeah, it was chemically, by my own respiration, I felt I'm respiring the 7,000 years. It was an exciting visit.
Actually, I sat on the parapet wall of the well.
Okay.
I was wondering who could have taken baths here. Women would not have taken, or maybe they would have taken.
Yeah.
We don't know. Today we say women cannot take bath in public like that. In those days, the dressing code was different. They must also taken bath.
Yes.
No idea what it was, what life could have been.
Yes. And finally, about the book, madam, I'll come to a few other things later. About the book, I'm very happy to now see that Subhash Chandra Bose is a mural there. Generally thought to be neglected hero of the country. I was very, very excited to see the last mural on Subhash Chandra Bose. What was your feel when you saw that?
Yeah. I went to Calcutta, went to his house where he escaped.
Okay.
And how he escaped.
Okay.
And I saw his museum. And sat there for some time. Then I realized what a patriotic person. If would have caught, what would have been happening to him.
True.
And patriot, it is not only one person or one group of people got us independence. Many, many Indians, unknown Indians, many, many women, children, men.
Invisible souls have gone.
Like, when you see a temple, Brihadeshwara temple, I said, how many people worked? How many years they worked? How many people might have given their life? What season they must have worked? How many architects must have worked? We can't see. If this podcast would have been in Kannada, I would have told Kannada saying that a life is full of mind, of gratitude, of various types.
Yes. You have invited trouble. I'm sure they are hearing and they would want you to have it in Kannada.
ಎನಿತು ಜನರಿಗೆ ಎನಿತು ಜನ್ಮಗಳಿಗೆ ನಾನು ಎನಿತು ಋಣಿಯೋ ಹಾಗೆ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ಈ ಜನ್ಮವೆಂಬುದು ಒಂದು ಋಣದ ಗಣಿಯೋ.
How do you remember all this, madam?
I like my subject.
Okay, great. I mean, when you say you like your subject, you also write one sentence. When I'm reading history books, you become young. I wouldn't agree with that. I'll tell you why. I agree with that, what is implied in that. But you become young not only when you read your books, but almost on everything that perhaps involved in. Madam, the question I have, 2 questions I have at the end. One of them is, among all these 58 that you have gone through, which is the one you love the most? Of course, you already told.
I told Kalidasa.
Yeah.
Because I've read all Kalidasa 7 work.
Okay.
From Avidnana Shakuntala to Ritu Samvara, Malavikagni-mitra, Vikrama Urvashiya, Raghuvamsha, Kumara Sambhava, and Meghaduta. Ritu Samvara is first. All I have read original. So I have read the originals. So and there are many shlokas in Kalidasa. He says, when you start counting who is number 1 in Sanskrit literature, we say number 1 is Kalidasa. Who is next to him? We don't know. Number 3 is Bharati, etc., etc. So this finger is called Aneka. No name.
Okay.
Because there is nobody next
no
to
one
Kalidasa.
who can equal that.
Next to Kalidasa, not in equal. Next to Kalidasa, there is nobody. So for me, it is very dear to my heart and my upbringing with the Sanskrit literature. So I took that as a first to write about him and send it as a small, description of poem, mural painting to
Okay.
the parliament.
Okay.
I did that.
Other than that, what is the other thing that I'm sure Pulakeshin II also would have perhaps been
Of
a
course,
love? Yeah.
Krishna, because this is because I'm biased.
Yeah.
Pulakeshin II, Krishna
Krishnadevaraya.
Devaraya. Oh, these are all because I belong to Karnataka.
Yeah.
Okay, apart from that, there are many. Greek Vasudeva also I like a lot.
Okay. Yeah.
Greek Vasudeva.
Yeah.
Sanchi Stupa
Ah,
I have liked. Konark I have liked.
okay.
Buddha in meditation I like. And I also believe the Buddha's middle path, which I am going to talk on May 10th. Why?
Okay.
Buddha is very dear to my heart also, philosophically. And I have touched his bone,
Hmm.
okay,
Okay.
once.
Okay.
So anything with Buddha, I have my personal connection.
So also with me.
Yeah. So Buddhas, of all the Buddhas, Buddha in meditation I liked.
Hmm.
Of course, I liked. I like Ashoka a lot because he's a dazzling star in the sky of history,
Hmm.
and I liked about him. Most of them are they become my personal friends,
Okay.
in the journey.
Otherwise, you wouldn't have perhaps.
Okay, these
Okay.
58 are 58 stages of Indian history.
Acha. Finally, madam,
Uh,
without your knowledge, you'll be always dropping your grandfather's name whenever the history interest comes. And that means there is somewhere sitting in your heart, your ancient teacher, and we would like to hear about him.
My grandfather was a school teacher, high school
Okay.
teacher. He used to teach very unusual subjects.
Acha.
One is history, second one is mathematics.
Okay.
Both are not connected to each other in any way.
Yeah.
And he told me, who says people who know mathematics cannot know history and otherwise?
Hmm.
It's your brain which you should train.
Hmm.
And
Very unusual thinking, I would say.
he was born in 1869.
Hmm.
And he took us, he baptized me in history in a very young age, maybe 8 or 9.
Hmm.
And he never talked to anybody in a singular, in Kannada, Neenu word he never used in his life.
Hmm.
New, even though I was 63 years younger than him.
Hmm.
He took me to, first he introduced me to Badami caves
Hmm.
and the Vatapi Konda. Then he took me to Hampi. Then he took me to Bankapura, okay, and Nagareshwara temple, I remember even today.
Hmm.
It is we walked to Bankapur from Shigami. It's 8-10 kilometers. And I was a young girl and everybody scolded. Why do you take a young girl and teach them Nagareshwara temple? What she will understand? No, I understood that it was destroyed, by, what's his name? I remember his name in those days. Who killed Shivaji's brother? So Shivaji had a brother Sambhaji, and Sambhaji was killed by him.
I see.
Okay, and he destroyed the temple, Nagareshwara temple. Anyway, then he, we are not rich people, so he could not take me to great places like Ajanta, Ellora. He could not even think of that.
Hmm.
Whatever is in our limitation, in our Karnataka, whatever you could see, every place he has taken and showed and talked about the history impassionately, saying that you should never be biased in history. It's an event which is done, gone. You don't have control,
Okay.
but you have a mind which can learn from that, and you should not repeat it.
Okay.
That is in your hand.
Okay.
Now we should not lose Badami to Narasimhavarman of
Yeah.
Pallava. That is not my hand. It happened
Yes.
1500 years back.
Yes.
But we should remember that Rajasimha temple, we did not burn and take away the god from the Rajasimha temple.
Yes.
What Ibrahim Adil Shah did, that you should learn.
Hmm.
Okay. And he also told me that Yarayanga was the name of Chalukya Pulakeshin. In some inscription it has come. I never knew that one.
Acha.
So he introduced me, but he was more of a clinically, he used to introduce me, not emotionally, clinically. This is a fact, this happened. Like it will start with, then he told me the data line for history you should know. Like 1053, okay, Belur temple was built, you should know. And 575, Chalukya Pulakeshin's time. Or 1630, Shivaji was born. 1680, Shivaji died. 1707, Aurangzeb died. 1542, Akbar the Great was born.
Okay.
1715, the War of Plassey.
Okay.
So these are the important events which changed India. 1192, Prithviraj.
Even the professionals in history perhaps would not know so perfectly these dates of these places.
1192, Prithviraj Chauhan won.
Okay.
1193, he lost.
Hmm.
And that is the downfall of the kingdom in the Hindu kingdom of the north.
So the seed of this book
Mhm.
is laid in you perhaps by your grandfather.
At the
March.
age of 8.
Ah.
And my mother was also a history teacher in
Ah.
school.
Okay.
And she would tell, you should connect.
Oh, she was also history
History
teacher.
teacher.
Okay.
It runs in the family. I'm
Ah.
not an exception. I'm normal.
Okay.
So she told me that she gave me an emotional connect to history, which my grandfather did not do. He
Okay.
gave me the facts,
Hmm.
dates, and think about the events.
Okay.
Whereas my mother told me emotionally connect, like Chalukya Pulakeshin.
Hmm.
She said he is sitting like a Vishnu in the Vaddolaga,
Hmm.
in the Badami cave. She
Yeah.
introduced me that
Yeah.
too. She also told me, look at Ganapati in Badami, they have only 2 hands.
Hmm.
And she also told me, look at Nataraja in the cave number 1, on the right side of my right side now. There are 18 hands.
Yes.
Or Nataraja will have always 16 hands.
Hmm.
This only has 18. The
Okay.
permutation combination of 18.
Bharat
18C2, she told me. She was a mathematics teacher
Okay.
also. 18C2,
Hmm.
the permutation combination is every Bhangi Nritya mudra of the Bharatanatyam.
Yeah.
She taught. Connect the monuments with your heart.
Hmm.
You will remember forever.
True.
And please remember, our ancestors lived here.
Hmm.
They participated. And then I used to think my ancestors participated in every war
Hmm.
of Badami caves. Okay, that's the way I conceived.
Hmm.
Later I said, no,
Hmm.
I should conceive my whole country. I belong to this country. Every war, my ancestor participated.
True.
So my mother did the second part of commenting that to history to emotion.
Okay.
Third part is my sister, who
Ah.
is a doctor by profession.
Yeah.
She also has a DNA of history like me.
Okay.
And when almost all places, she is my co-travelers in
Acha.
history.
Okay.
And we debate because she was a devil's argument, a
Hmm.
lawyer.
Hmm.
She would say, when I say that, prove it. How do you say that?
Hmm.
What is folklore? What is folklore? What is historical event? We should be very clear about that. Don't mix folklore to historical events.
True. Yeah.
So she will remove anything left, like when something is boiling, when a gold, you liquidate, you put it in the furnace, then it becomes liquid. The black portion comes out in case there are any errors in that,
Hmm.
and a jeweler removes it by tongs,
Hmm.
saying that this is not gold, this
This
is
is impurity.
impurity.
Hmm.
Same way, Sunanda would remove my impurity by argument.
Hmm.
And
But,
otherwise,
but I would
be
perhaps
helpful.
stand with your sister in also attributing some weightage to folklore also, because folklore also capture elements of history.
Then she says that then you make a different section.
Hmm.
This is a folklore, this is a historical event.
Okay.
And what you feel, you write the third one.
Hmm.
Don't mix and make one.
Hmm.
And that is not correct.
Hmm.
Scientifically, number 1 is historic, number 2 is folklore, number 3 is your conclusion, which may not be perfect at all.
Fine.
So these 3 people played an important role.
Okay.
And I was baptized into history in a very young age.
Hmm.
And for the sake of my mother, has said she was 12 and she went to Vijayanagar, Hampi in 1936
Hmm.
for the 600-year coronation, founding day of the Vijayanagar
Acha.
in year 1936.
Okay.
She told, I'm so sure 20236, I don't know who will, definitely she will not be there, even I will not be there.
Okay.
But she said,
2033.
36.
We all wish you are there, madam. Maybe I will be
2036.
trial with you.
1336. So
36.
2036.
2036.
So another 10
7
years.
years.
I'm 76.
Uh.
God willing, if I get health, I want to.
Okay. We can remember. I will perhaps join you if I am also there.
And I'm in a position to walk. She said, I can't be present, but let this history go through my heart to my children.
Okay.
Okay? And she said, you should go from your heart to your children. My daughter knows history. May not be as good as this because she did not,
Yes.
but 70-80% of what I
Okay.
know. And my granddaughters, I told them, holiday, you can't go anywhere. You want to see something? She said, we want to go on the west side.
Hmm.
Okay? I said, then Pompeii.
Hmm. Hmm.
And prepared them for Pompeii, took
Okay.
them. I told them, I will not take you to any of these areas of Red Fort or Beluru, etc. when you are 8, 10, 12 years.
Hmm.
After 15 and 16, then only I want to take you,
Okay.
so that it will register in your mind.
Register.
In your mind.
Hmm.
For me, I was brought up in that atmosphere.
Fine.
Both teachers,
Hmm.
school will take,
Hmm.
but they are in different country, different culture. So I said, if you want to remember, after 16 you have to travel with me.
Hmm.
Before that, I don't want to. I took the photograph. No,
Okay.
more than that.
Okay. Great.
So I go to my country first,
Okay.
which has such a great canvas.
Hmm.
It's such a great canvas of the event of 7,000 years to this
Present.
day.
Yeah.
7,000 plus
Almost
2,000,
10,000.
10,000 years. and all those people who fought wars for my country to remain in my country, and all those people who made this fabric made so colorful by the scholarship.
May I add something else there? We don't know whose genes we are sharing of all those
Yes.
people. Yeah.
Yes,
When
from
we-
Scythian genes,
Yeah.
okay, Roman genes, okay, or genes from the Greek, from Turkestan, Kazakhstan, all of them
And
came.
even
to-
Buddha's genes,
Buddha,
Mahavira's.
all of them came. It was a mixing boiling point.
Yes.
All of them came and got into the furnace
Sure.
and boiled together and made all of us Indians, irrespective of our faith.
Last question, madam. I'm sure this book has the potentiality of growing further. I think you should now perhaps now attempt that. And I'm sure that will be also a great success. But nevertheless, this itself is a great thing. Congratulations for
Thank
that.
Thank
But
you.
with all your encyclopedic data that you have in your mind, each of this chapter can expand into almost 5 times, 10 times longer. At least for those who are now eager to know beyond what is written here, I would request if we can also attempt that, madam.
Let me think it over. Because first I had Teresa sat and I went on dictating 2,000 words on some of the incidents. Then I realized that I have a limitation. I can't make Kharavela 300 and 400 words, Ashoka 2,000 words. I can't. And second thing, everybody does not require this detailing of history. Only Ganeshaiah, person like you, will enjoy. Very few people really like history, I have seen. Some people ask me, why did you write a coffee table book? Can you keep a coffee cup on that? I said, no. Some people said, you are an author for the children, so it's a children book. Some people said, why you should write? People can see the painting and go home. Why you have to write? So, it is not that everyone likes history.
No, it's everyone's book. It's not children's
Okay.
book. It is not elders' book. It is
So,
everyone's book.
Someone like Ganeshaiah with whom I can talk and open heart. And I want he should criticize in case I'm wrong and appreciate he does always. Okay. And find out any errors I have, because Rigveda says the first shloka in Indian Vedas, the first shloka says, let me be open-minded. Ano bhadrani pashyate. It says, let all good thoughts come from all direction. Let me pick it up.
Okay.
It never says, I will listen only what I want to listen. Whether good or bad or ugly, I want to listen.
Yeah.
And then make my own decision. So it's nice to talk to Ganeshaiah. And any amount of time which is given, I and Ganeshaiah will not get up, we'll talk up to the evening.
Madam,
But podcast people have to get up one.
I am in fact very happy and obliged to you for sparing this whole morning for us. There is nothing more pleasurable to me than talking with you on history, and not only history, and so many other things, and your trips and your experience. Thank you very much.
We always exchange notes, and our notes will be more than an hour normally. Okay, it's some Saturday, Sunday, or late evening, with the best time for me and Ganeshaiah to talk. And Sunada joins in between. So, Ganeshaiah writing is one thing, but writing is a kind of a performing art. If you are a good dancer, there is no performing, there are no people to see, you get bored. You can write a fantastic book, if there are no readers, you get disappointed.
No,
So I'm very happy that person like you appreciate it.
No, it's
Because you know what is diamond, what is less diamond, what is a good diamond, because you are Ratna Parikshaka in history. When you say it is good, I feel happy and content in my heart.
Maybe I am biased because I am also liking history like you and so loved it. But nevertheless, I'm sure this book will be liked by everyone. As I told you, because it's a concise primer of the story of Bharat.
It is a foundation
Yeah.
to build a big building.
True. Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Sure.
Jai Hind.
Thank you.
And this book is dedicated to all my soldiers who protect our country, because
I
I
see.
always felt because they are protected, we can live in democratic. So thank you, viewers, listening to this. And it was a great morning for me, because it is uninterrupted. Me and Ganeshaiah, irrespective of who is listening, we are talking to ourselves. Okay, that's what I feel.
True, madam.
Okay, Dhanyavad. Jai Hind.
Dhanyavad. Jai Hind. Thank you.